Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of VR and All That Jazz. We're your host, Jasmine.
I'm Jasmine.
And we're live on YouTube every third Wednesday of the month. Can you believe it? It's already the third Wednesday of November and it's almost 2024, but whatever. That's not what we're talking about here. We're also streaming on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Or if you want to tune in later for audio listeners, you can also find us on your favorite podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon, and Google. I believe that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a very special guest today. Wow, this woman has been in the VR industry for a while, and she's launched some of the top games in the industry, including 11 Table Tennis. They've now launched Bounce Shot, Pickleball Pro, like all the all the games with the ball physics in it. And a fun fact, she's also a lifelong ice hockey player, marathon runner. I know all the things. Yeah, of course, we're talking about Natasha. I should have asked her how to pronounce her last name. Fahey? Anyway, she can say it herself. Hi, Natasha.
Hey, ladies. It's Fahey.
Fahey. Oh gosh, yeah. I'm such a noob. I should have asked you sooner. Fahey. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so it's been a month since we have done this podcast last. So what have you been up to, Adam, in the VR world?
I hate you a little because when I was walking around in Venice Beach randomly, well, because at first I was like, I have a friend coming over. We're going to be doing some cool stuff, going to cool places. It would be cool to have the MetaSmart glasses, but they didn't have the transition lens, which I really wanted. Those were sold out everywhere and in my size. But happened to walk into a random shop on Venice Beach and I was like, you know what? This is a long shot, but do you happen to have the MetaSmart glasses, the transition ones? And he said, in fact, we do. So I ended up shelling out money. Yeah. So the randomest places, but I have made a lot of use of this. Like, I'll go into it more later on, thoughts and things that I've done with it. But they're fun. They're really fun.
You like them?
I do. You did good. Sorry, I couldn't use your referral link because I bought it in person. I actually went outside and did those things
and touched grass. Stop doing that. How many times have I told you not to do that?
Yeah, them and I picked them up in a brick and mortar store as well because I wanted the transition lenses. So I got them in New York in Soho at a Ray-Ban store, and when I was there, like in the end of October, and they're great. They're really amazing. The way you can hear everything in your ears and how they're helpful. They're awesome.
I feel like that's how you have to go. Just like, because online, the transitions were not available anywhere.
Impossible to get. Yeah. I ordered my mom some from online for her birthday and it's not even coming for like weeks and weeks and weeks. They're so hard to get. It's crazy. Yeah, they're like a rare Pokemon. You just gotta go and see if you can catch them at a store. I had a comment recently on my video. So I think, Adam, you're referring to my YouTube video when I talked about how much I love these glasses. And they were like, man, all these influencers talking about these glasses and they got them for free about how amazing they are. And they don't talk about the negatives. And I was like, bro, there were negatives. I talked about the negatives, but that doesn't mean that they're still they're not amazing. It's not mutually exclusive.
I had one of those too, and it's like I didn't get these for free. This was a Zim Talk and a jazz influence. I specifically if I was going to shell out $400 for this, I'm gonna wait for the transition ones. So I wanted to get specifically the ones that I wanted at least. But no, yeah, mine wasn't free anyway. So, but we may have gotten the same commenter. I don't know. They also were very angry about life. I don't know.
It's probably the same couple in the VR industry just going around commenting on people's videos like, I don't like this.
I don't know, but otherwise, I'll go into this one later too. But I also got to try Sandbox VR had their Squid Game experience released not long ago, maybe like a month ago, and that was fun. But I'll have a short little video because they give you one once you finish the game, and so you can see what it's about. But it was good. It was cool. I would love to try it with you guys. It's fun with friends. I mean, I guess you could do it solo too, but I feel like you have to do those with people. The spatial, not spatial, I'm using that word for everything now, but the locomotion based, not locomotion based. You know what I'm talking about? The experience space where you actually can move around in your space and you're physically moving around, kind of a thing.
That's cool. Yeah, I love that there's like all these like I don't know, there's more and more IPs coming to the VR into the VR world, which is really exciting. Like Squid Games is huge that they got that. That's really amazing. And obviously Assassin's Creed I think is launching tomorrow.
Something like that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been a lot. It's been a lot of launches, and it's very hard to
Oh,
keep track of all of them.
I just posted a tweet. I was like, so many VR games, so little time. I feel like I want to be locked away. Nobody talk to me. I don't want any meetings. I don't want any text messages. Just let me play and leave me in peace.
And mixed reality updates. You know, I've heard that's
Oh yeah. I think
Maybe.
Natasha could probably talk about that. She's also just had a mixed reality update.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving to have time to play VR because we've been very busy updating all of our games, and we launched Pickleball Pro last week, and we just put out a mixed reality update today for Bounce Shot, and it's so cool. It's like a really fun new table. It's like pink and blue, and you can put it anywhere. And when you play with other people, it's like they're right in your home with you. It's just such a really cool experience. So I love it.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't have a chance to try it yet today. I jumped in yesterday to be like, maybe they would have released it early. I don't know, probably not. But I was just hoping to be like, maybe I'll get lucky. But I did not. But that's okay. I still have time to jump into it and try the mixed reality mode.
It looks so freaking good, but like we'll get into it. We'll dive into it a little bit more later when we get into our interview. But yeah, Natasha, have you been doing anything in the VS? I mean, I know you've been like working like crazy trying to get all these like games out and these game launches, but any fun stuff in the VR XR realm?
I mean, I've been playing a lot of our own games. I've also been taking my Quest 3 to the beach, which I know is not look, you're not supposed to play outside, I guess, but it works. So I'm doing it. And it's really fun. It's also funny to see people take photos of you while you're playing, and they're walking by and they're like, what's this person doing? But we have put out beach footage for all of our games, I think, at this point. And so if you wonder where that came from, that's me personally filming and playing on the beach. So I finally got like a 28 or 27 point shot in pickleball. So I was pretty happy with that too. So been better at all the games by, needing to make good MR content too.
Yeah, I'm so bad at it. Admittedly, I'm working with the bots until I can work my way up to real people or get brave enough, but I'm getting there slowly but surely.
Yeah, if you play against like Awakened Toast or any of those guys, they're so wild. They do like crazy trick shots. They're like, I'm gonna try to throw it on this column and bounce it off the ceiling and to see if it goes into the cup. And I'm like, where did you come up with this? Like they just do all these crazy trick shots. It's really funny, actually.
Yeah, that's awesome.
For me, oh my gosh, I've been trying to play as many games as I can with the very little time that I have. I can't talk about it. I'm sorry. I signed an NDA, but I have there's some pretty good games that are coming out that has been this holiday season of this year has been a lot of apps and games and things that are coming out. And it's just like, I don't know, it's great. It's great to be at a point where we're like, wow, I just don't even have enough time because there's so much content to play. I think that's awesome. It's a great place to be.
Without, I guess, completely wrecking your NDA, are these titles that are coming out this or next month? Because you say at least that. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we have some of the same ones. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm so excited. But yeah, and also doing all the mixed reality stuff. But people have been doing like that whole trend of people doing like mixed reality chores. So I did try that the other day, but I was like, ooh, this is a little dangerous. I hope no one's using a knife while like, trying to cook and use it. Cause like your hands get all warped a little bit on the Quest 3 pass through. So I'm like, is it real? Are people really doing that? I don't know. Or is it just for the show?
All of a sudden while you're mid chopping and it's just like, we lost tracking. And you're like, oh, and there's also lost a finger to go with it. Yeah.
Oh, I know. Man. I did do one thing. So I didn't have a TV for quite a while in my living room. And so I was using I was using Quest 3 pass through. Like I was laying, it was so funny. I was laying on my couch, and like I just have like the windows open all the time, so like to have a lot of airflow, and it's like a pretty like big window where you can see everything. And I'm like laying on my couch, just like watching like YouTube on my ceiling, in mixed reality. And I see my neighbor walking by, and you always look in people's windows when you walk by. So he like looks in, and he kind of like is just like looking at me funny, and then I look at him, which I'm sure he didn't realize that I could see him because I'm wearing the Quest 3. So he just thinks like, but I look at him and we both just kind of stare at each other, and then he like walks away. It's pretty funny. But
It's
I was
funny,
like, I should probably close my windows when I do stupid things like this.
It is fun what reactions you can get from people who don't realize you can see them when you have mixed reality. I'm sure that Natasha got that a lot at the beach, probably. It's like, nah, is she looking at me? Like, nah, I can see you. But then just to see they're kind of like confused, like, how do I act? I don't know.
Yeah.
Looking at me, maybe, I think, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was like thinking about mixed reality with Bounce Shot, and I'm like, I don't know why I was thinking about this earlier. Just I was like making coffee, and I was like, whoa, that would be really cool. But I was thinking about like, man, and like, imagine if there was like when you go to like house parties. I mean, not at my age, but the kids, when the kids go to the house parties, and instead of like having the whole beer pong set up, you just see people with like headsets doing it. But then if they had like a big TV that projected what everyone was like seeing and doing, man, that would be cool. And I was like, I wonder if that's what's going to be in the future. And then you can always just change whatever like activity that they're doing together, and it's still mixed reality. I don't know why I thought about that, but I thought that was cool.
I mean, Thanksgiving's coming up, so
yeah, I sort of simulated that with some friends we stopped recently and saw, and everybody wanted to try VR, and so I had people trying 11 and Bounce Shot, and just had it streaming to my phone and then projecting up on the TV so everyone can see what's going on, and like people loved it, and couldn't get enough of it, and everybody was trying it, and all that. So it definitely is probably a direction it'll go, for just people to get used to it and give it a try.
I really think that like mixed reality is changing the landscape a bit of VR. It's allowing people to not be so scared to get into VR, because usually when you get into VR, you're like, especially as a first timer, it just like blocks you from everyone and everything. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like you're completely blind. So mixed reality is such a gentle way of putting people into VR for the first time. And I've just seen so many more people be like, wait, what? You could do that, which has been cool.
I feel like you can help with motion sickness too, because you're moving around in your space, and it's safe for children and pets and anyone else that
my gosh, yes, that's such a big one. Yeah, the pets and the children. Yeah, my friend just had a baby, and I was telling her that there's mixed reality now, and she was like, oh, I could do that. I could play and I could still see my baby, which is nice. I've also been playing a lot of Demio battles, which is, I'm upset how much I've been losing. I'm actually very upset. I'm like, why am I thought I was really good, and I feel like it's rigged because you have to unlock characters, and so I can only play the default characters, and I never play any of those characters. I mean, it's rigged. I think I'm only losing because I don't have my hero, but that's a story for a different day.
Okay, all right,
sure. All right. Well, let's get to know Natasha a little bit. So Natasha, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and like how you got to where you are today? I know that's a loaded question. You're like, just a little bit about yourself, and also how you got to where you are today in your whole entire career in life.
My whole life story, but don't be too long about it. No, for sure. So I started out, I went to Skidmore College. I have a economics and government double major. And then from there, I went into meetings and special events at the Ritz-Carlton, but I did a lot of operations. So that sort of was like a foray into what I do today, which is run operations. I didn't know it at the time, but I realized it wasn't like overly mentally challenging. And, I was like, I'm pretty smart. Like, this just doesn't seem like the right fit. I was a paralegal for a while, thinking I wanted to go to law school. And then a lot of advice from really good partners at the firm I was at. And they're like, you probably don't want to do this. Like, you're super creative. Like, business school would be such a better choice for you. And so really appreciate that candid advice that I got. And I went to Babson part-time while I was working, and partway through at Babson while getting my MBA, I got my first startup job in automotive technology and working on an active suspension system, which was both new hardware and new software. So super technically deep, started up by two guys from MIT. And I did a very similar role to what I have today, but started as kind of office and HR manager, and then grew into director of ops and onward and upward. And so that was really the foundation for everything I do today and working in tech and engineering companies. And so I went on from there and worked in ed tech and in another automotive startup that was working more on self-driving vehicles. And then I've also done a sales consulting company as well. So I've been around a lot of different businesses at this point and companies, and really love being in like the front of technology, which VR feels very much like that space. And then this is such a great fit, as you talked about. I'm a serious athlete for my whole life, and getting to work on these games, especially 11 at the moment, and of course where pickleball will probably go. And of course, I played beer pong in college, so the beer pong game is very nostalgic for me as well. But they're really awesome games, and the community is amazing. And where we're taking it with esports and everything like that really fits in well to who I am as a person too.
Okay, so you've done like everything. Like that is so wildly varied. I was like paralegal, automotive, cars,
Athletes.
yeah. I was like, wait, how does the word? I was gonna ask, like, how does this all, like, how did you end up in VR? But then when you said, oh, but I really like being at the forefront of technology, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, it's about a year and a half ago, I found the team at FunLabs, and, had a really great first interview, and, met the whole team, and it was an incredible fit, and have really enjoyed being a part of it. And where we've brought it today, we've brought out Bounce Shot and Pickleball this year, which is incredible progress. Our team is just around 20 people. So to have 3 titles out now feels really accomplished.
How many people?
We're just
20?
barely 20 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many people were there when 11 came out?
I believe when it launched, it was just the 3 founders. Actually, yes.
Can you imagine being like a 3 founder and all of a sudden like striking gold?
Yeah, it's an incredible story, and I'm happy to talk a little bit about it. So 2 of the founders, Hamza and Oscar, were actually living in a hacker house in out in the valley, and they, VR is starting to come out, and they're like, oh, we should really make a game, for VR. And they're like, table tennis is so great because the size of the table, it's such a great 1-for-1 for VR. And so they started working on it, and they started something on Reddit. And then that's how they found Roman, who is our CTO and out of New York City. And Roman's kind of the mastermind behind our physics. And he had already started something on his own too with table tennis. And he also played table tennis growing up. And so, they started talking and figured out, hey, maybe we should combine this effort and move forward. And they actually didn't meet each other. I think it was about 2 years before they met in person working. This blows my mind that they were able to accomplish so much working remotely.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy story. I mean, I'm gonna because I also have I also worked with I also worked a lot in tech with a lot of engineers. Those are the 2 sentences I was trying to say that got mushed together. And yeah, that makes so much sense because everyone always plays like ping pong. Like I remember it so clearly. I was like, you'd be doing some engineering work and everyone's like, then people are like, hey, you want to go play ping pong? I mean, they usually didn't ask me because I wasn't very good to play against, but normally they would ask people if you want to go play. And it's just like, and I was always surprised. I'm like, I can't believe that you could just like play ping pong while you're supposed to be working. But a lot of it too, like when you do engineering work, you have to like, when you have a problem, you can't just keep thinking about it. You kind of just have to like let it sit in the back of your mind. So they play like ping pong / table tennis to kind of like solve the problem in the back of their mind without burning out. It was really interesting. So now that you say that he was in a hacker house, that makes so much sense.
Actually does lead me into another question, though. So that's a good point. Both bounce shot and 11 table tennis kind of are, well, maybe not table tennis as much, depending on how you look at it. They're both sort of classic party games. You know, you imagine just bringing a bunch of friends over, hanging out, maybe a little bit of alcohol. It depends on what kind of party it is. But both of those games you've had to adapt into VR. Were there any particular challenges that came with in bringing these kind of familiar party games into virtual reality?
I mean, certainly there's challenges, right? And I think the biggest thing we've done is spent a lot of time working on the physics, right? And trying to get the ping pong ball correct. And, there's a whole variety of different ways that people hit that ball. Us beginners, like we hit it pretty slowly, but if you go watch professional table tennis, it is incredibly different. It has different sounds. They're wailing it across the table very, very fast. So getting those elements right, we've done lots of physics testing, to go test it outside and in the real world, take those, curves and of course, I'm not a physicist, so I'm not super elegant in talking about this, but I've seen different graphs and different things that we use when we're working on this stuff. But, our goal is to get it as realistic as possible because we want it to be a true simulator of the sport. And same thing for bounce shot, even though it's definitely a more fun title, we want it to feel like you're playing beer pong, which it very much does, and that's probably my best game of all the games right now, because I played it in college and, it's relatively easy. It seems to be coming back to me. So that it feels realistic and that, that it's as true as it can be to the sport, that, people can practice it and then go in and play the sport. We've got a great video done with one of our partners, Dan from Table Tennis Daily in the UK. And he trains this girl, Chloe, for 30 days on 11 table tennis and then takes her back out to play in real life. And she's like so much better. So it's really incredible that you can use it as a training tool. It's a little intimidating to go into a club, and play a sport that you might have never played before, and try to go learn it. And also, like with ping pong, you've got to go pick up a million balls too in the real world. So we've seen a lot of really great stories, and I'm happy to share. There's a great video of a gentleman in Singapore who's one of our users, who he started playing 11 and then went out and found a coach and started playing in a club, and now plays at a pretty high level as well. So a lot of really
cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have you. This is just okay. Anyway, I'm going to out myself here, but have you guys watched The Golden Bachelor? By chance?
Golden Bachelor.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
regular Bachelor.
Okay, wait. There's a point to this, okay, and it's important. But so in The Bachelor, where you have one guy and a bunch of ladies date that one guy, so they have a version of that, but for like seniors or for people that are like retired.
Oh,
it's so good. So it's all about like hope and how like you could find love again and like have a new refresh your life even after say your spouse passed away and stuff. It's so touching, and to see like the bond between the ladies. But anyway, okay, so the important part of this, the one that's relatable, is like they have like every single lady in that on that show was just like, oh, what do you do for fun? They're like, I play pickleball. I'm a pickleball pro captain. And they were like, I play pickleball. It was crazy. Everyone there like played pickleball. So one of the dates that they went on was like a pickleball competition, and the person who won the competition obviously gets like a special date with the guy and gets more extra special time. But I can just imagine, like, with the way that pickleball has been picking up, and like obviously Natasha, you said that you guys just launched Pickleball Pro. Man, can you imagine if, like, I don't know, I'm just like, imagine if these ladies had to use VR and one of them could have just been practicing in secret, went on this date and turned out to be like, just like demolished everyone.
We have homework now. Do pickleball now in case you end up on Golden Bachelor. Okay, this is very important. Practice now. Practice because you never know if you're going to end up on Golden Bachelor. It's be very impressive.
Well, and that's actually how pickleball is built right now. It's a first-person training tool, which doesn't really exist in the real world because to play pickleball, you need at least one other person, if not, a total of 4 people, because usually it's played in doubles. So we've built it with, you've got like a dink, a slam, a drop, and it's a machine that shoots balls out at you and gives you targets. So it makes you better at shooting it in specific locations. And then there's a wall and of course, just a random robot as well. So it's really great at improving your game. And if you're really into pickleball, it's a fantastic training tool. It's in App Lab right now, and we're very much open to feedback from everybody. And, we want to turn it into a full multiplayer game, very similar path to how we built 11 as well.
I have like another related but also unrelated story. I feel like I should stop outing myself. I'm like, oh gosh, I love those like, the reality TV shows. But anyway, one of the things I started doing recently was I started going to dance classes, which I've always been really scared and shy and embarrassed to do dance classes. I was like, I just can't, I just don't know how to do it. But for over the summer, I got into this like kick where I was playing, what was it? FitXR, doing the dance classes, like the dance workouts in there. And like, you don't think, you don't know, I'm just like, I don't know if this is helping me. I have no idea. But then when I've been doing these dance classes, I like told the instructor, I was like, man, this is one of the first times I've ever like done a like dance class in person before. Like this was really, and she's like, really? I thought you've been doing dance classes for a while. Like you're actually like, you're pretty decent. And I was like, VR as a training tool can really work. So, if you're ever, considering going to a dating show, you might have to play pickleball to compete for someone's heart. So training in VR totally works.
But just for good measure, also practice table tennis and bounce shot as well, because you never know.
Especially if you go into engineering, you'll need to know table tennis. Yeah, and if you're in college, all the training simulators to get you to make you successful in social settings. That's what FunLabs specializes in.
So I actually wanted to ask a little bit about Bounce Shot's new mixed reality update, which came out today. Yes, right, because I tried it yesterday and it wasn't there.
You should have emailed. I could have given you a early version to try out, but that's okay.
Okay, I was just panic going through and like I gotta try this. It's okay. But what went into sort of taking existing Bounce Shot and converting it, if that's even the proper word, into mixed reality? Were there any challenges? And do you think that this opens up, we kind of touched on this a little bit in our intro, but do you think that this may open up new possibilities for classic party games like Bounce Shot?
I think so. So the biggest upgrade was, and we brought mixed reality into all of our games, and we're sort of lucky with the games, right? Because you have a table that's in an environment. So it leads super well to just removing that environment and making that environment transparent. So we were a very lucky developer that leads so well into doing MR. But the biggest difficulties with it were really just upgrading our version of Unity. And once that was done, it was very easy to build MR. We actually built it in Pickleball first, then ported Pickleball to 11. And then the 11 team also helped out 11 and Pickleball teams helped the Bounce Shot team a little bit with because Bounce Shot builds a little bit different than the other two games. But yeah, it took, 11 and Pickleball both had it a little bit sooner. But, within a month's time, we were able to get it out. And then
that's really fast.
And we added some other updates too. You asked a second part of the question that I'm forgetting now.
Do you think that what do you think that it adds to, or does it open up any new possibilities that maybe you in VR or not, like as well?
Where is this mixed reality taking us? That's a loaded question. But I mean, it's so much more comforting, I guess, to have a little bit of the real world around you and to have the digital world just sort of overlaid on your normal environment. I find, I mean, in 11, I've whacked my hand against a variety of different things, even though I've have the Guardian. And we all have probably playing Beat Saber and other things. So you're a lot less likely to do that, which I think people feel safer. And I think you're going to spend more time in headset because of it. And then, I mean, having the experience where you're playing multiplayer and people are just hanging out like in your home, it's really trippy and super cool. So I think for social games, that's going to be a big game changer for people. None of the games have like anchoring or anything like that. Like I haven't played, like, I don't know if Stranger Things is out yet, but that looks so cool where you've got these like portals to jump through in your own house. And same thing with, I think Ghostbusters has MR built in too. I haven't played that yet either, but anyway, I'd like to try some of the other versions of MR that aren't just like based on a table in an environment and see what other developers are doing. And, I'm sure that'll give me ideas for what else we should do for all these games.
Yeah, there's this one game that I've been talking to with some people about, and it's also like a very like sports oriented, like a lot of movement. But even though like in this game, the people, it's a very confined area, I just keep hearing from people like, oh, I punched my wall, I punched my dog. And I'm just like, don't do that. And like, man, if this company just like, made their game into MR, it could be, a lot safer. I really do think that like a lot of these sports type games or like really active games need MR in order for people to stay safe and protect themselves.
Well, you get in the zone too. So like when you're trying to get that trick shot, or you see the ball coming towards you and you're like, no, I'm gonna make this time because my score has been really bad. You don't really think about your surroundings when you're in VR versus, someone walking up to you while you're mid swing, you're gonna be like, oh no, I would prefer that this person doesn't get hurt over getting that sweet shot. Hopefully, I mean, I guess it depends on the person, but it does definitely have a lot of benefits, and it's really cool. I think what you said about, all of these games, they're all inherently social. I mean, you can, like me, if you're embarrassed by your lack of skill, go against bots, but
I play the bots too. Don't worry.
I'm like, man, I can't even beat the easiest bot. I don't know what that's saying about me, but I feel like you guys did an exceptional job with making these games that are, naturally party games, have that really, really good social element to them. So I had a question with this one, and I don't remember what it was. So I guess I'll just give you guys a kudos, because sometimes you don't need the really complicated. I don't want to like out any particular game because that's going to sound mean, but these are just games that anyone can get into really quickly, or has already done in the past. And so whether you're in VR separately across the different continent, or right next to each other, these are so great. Was that sort of intentional when it came to all of FunLabs games, or did they just kind of work into that? I don't know if that question made sense. How do you plan on capitalizing on all this, I guess? And were all the titles, I don't know if you can say, but do you think that your next titles will probably also have some sort of social aspect like the current ones do?
I think so. Obviously we've put out an incredible amount of games this year and want to develop those, and we don't have a direction of the next game at this moment, or definitely not publicly. But with the amount of time we've spent on the physics engine and understanding what we understand about balls moving around in virtual reality, and how, rackets hit those balls and what happens, and converting that into VR, it makes sense for us to continue to build different racket sports. Of course, bounce shot is a little bit different, and it's a little bit fun for us to have too. A lot of people who play 11, and of course our pickleball community, are very serious athletes. We were in the esport Olympics for 11 table tennis, and have esport Olympians for this sport. We have a European tournament coming up with live finals that we're going to do next. The finals will be in January. The top 16 players coming in person to compete, for the European champion. So it's, I mean, they're very serious sporting games, that we've created. And, it's nice to have a title like Bounce Shot that's a little more fun. We do have, it has rules, of course, and, we run tournaments for it as well. And people are super competitive for that. But we've added in some really cool new game modes that are just really fun. We have a game called Demolition and another game called Tug of War, where you're pulling one cup across the table, trying to shoot the ball in as fast as possible. And then Demolition is a set of cups in the middle of the table, and each side is trying to get all of them to be their color. And that's super. I've played that in multiplayer, and it's super fun. It's in our new trailer we put out, and you're just like, whoa, there's balls flying everywhere. The cups are changing colors. Like, what's going on here? So it's fun that we have such an experimental game where we, of course, are going to create super competitive, fun, simulated activity that feels like what you would do in the real world. But, we can take it in a lot of directions.
Yeah, I saw all these new game modes. They're so creative. They're so good. I don't know what they're called, but there was one where I think it was Demolition, where it's like the balls or the cups change into different colors depending on, I think, who shot last into it. So if it's like you're the purple team or the blue team, and you just keep trying to throw it in there to make it all your color, that was so creative. I was like, wow, I can really see this as real, these are real party games that you can't play in real life, but you can play in VR. I just feel like these college kids, they really need to up their VR game, because this is so freaking cool. And also that new map that you all made, I think it was the one that's wizardy theme for Bounce Shot.
That's not out yet, but that's an environment that's in development. Hopefully, maybe next year.
I didn't say anything. Oops.
Well, I got the rooftop one. We'll go back to one that I know is for sure in it. Yeah, the rooftop one. I mean, the arcade's pretty too, but there's something more calming about. And then the gym one just gives me anxiety because I feel like I gotta be super serious. It's great.
Yeah, that's our formal arena for real competitive beer pong.
Yeah, the music and it's pumping. I feel like, oh no, I have to be good at this. I have a crowd watching me.
Yeah. I wonder if man, have you ever thought about having, can you imagine PE classes having, VR as part of their curriculum? Oh, hey, if you're trying to learn how to do this, or maybe if you have limited mobility, you could try doing this for your class.
Nobody would ditch PE anymore.
Adam, you just outed yourself.
I didn't ditch PE. I just cheated on the miles, and I would because our teachers would mark it with a pen. So you just take someone else's hand and just stamp it so you look like you.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny! You're such a cheater.
It's peer pressure, but anyway, yeah, that's old Adam. Now, current Adam is no longer a cheater, and I will play Bounce Shot and 11 table tennis with the utmost
dignity.
Utmost dignity, and you don't think. It's kind of hard to cheat. Well, especially Bounce Shot gets really mad at you if you go too far forward anyway.
And it's a big angry noise if you cross that line.
Sorry.
But yeah, definitely both 11 and pickleball. I mean, I was shooting some of our pickleball footage, and I'm like, man, my arm's getting tired. I can't keep playing slam. If I want to play the way I want to play it. And then I've had people send me their watch workouts from playing 11 for a couple of hours. And it's more than when I go on a 5-mile run. I was like, well, I should play more 11 and get a better workout than just running in a straight line. So
yeah, that's actually a really good point. So we're streaming on multiple platforms, on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. So we had a very long comment on Facebook on LinkedIn a couple of minutes ago, just saying it's really great that VR is becoming so popular, and there's all these new features that are coming out. And that it's that we're starting to see that it's not just all about gaming per se, but more so things that people someone can use on a day-to-day basis. And they were just asking what are some things that you could do on a typical day in VR? And I think like fitness is huge. Like, yeah, like if you're competing in table tennis, or pickleball or bounce or like beer pong, yeah. Like you could practice in VR, or like fitness in VR, I think is like one of the I don't know, for me, like when I think about daily uses of VR, it's really, how do you get movement into, like, moving your body in your daily life without having it feel like torture.
So annoying and like a chore. You don't want it,
Yeah.
because if it feels like a chore, you're less likely to come back to it, right? Versus if it's something that you are actually looking forward to, but also something that, like a lot of people mentioned Beat Saber, and I feel like Beat Saber is a good start, but you still need to have even, it needs to be even throughout other parts of the body as well, besides just arms. But then, if you are wanting to get into a particular sport, or, table tennis hardcore, or pickleball, but like Natasha said, you can't really practice by yourself. It's just not possible. So these are excellent training tools. And I mean, you don't even have to be super serious wanting to be professional in real life or esports. Even if maybe you have, I would say, like some kind of current injury or something, depending on what it is, a lot of these are good to get you active without being like super crazy all over the place. So it's just, more is always good. More is always good, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I often, especially in the winter, I live in like the Northeast in the Boston area, and it's like, it snows there and it gets dark at 4 o'clock in the winter, and it's like, cool, I'm going to throw my headset on. I don't feel like going to the gym. Like, at least I'm moving around, and like for 30 or 45 minutes, and, play 11 or play, Supernatural's great workout, or, I haven't tried any of the like yoga workouts yet either, but any of that stuff, like if you're moving, body in motion stays in motion. I'm a huge believer in that. And some days you can go run a marathon, but other days you can go on a walk or play VR, and that's still really, really good workout for you.
I like that phrase, a body in motion will stay in motion. No wonder I'm always so tired. I just sit at my desk and work all day. I'm trying though. Something I've been doing recently. I really thought, Samba de Amigo, I've been playing that every now and then. I really thought it was like, man, it's gonna be a kid's game. It's all colorful with like all the party animals. But no, it's really fun. It's very like, it just makes me feel so happy. I'm like, oh, this is cheerful. All the colors. I'm like, maybe I do like kid things. Maybe I should watch kid TV shows too.
Yeah. I've also done like one-on-one meetings with people in either Bounce Shot or 11. Like you can have a private room, and if you're trying to catch up with somebody and talk about stuff, it's a great way to like get up from your desk and
that's so smart.
Genius idea, actually.
Genius. Yeah. Should trademark that.
Yeah.
Well, plus sometimes I think there's actually something with that, where if you're doing sort of maybe it's not as menial, as depending on how serious you want to get, if you want to be good at the game or have a good conversation. But if you're kind of doing something physical while you're having a conversation with someone, I think you're more likely to remember that conversation. I think I could be making up studies, but I swear somewhere that is what I heard. Like that's why people go on walks sometimes.
Yep.
Big businesses while they're doing their meetings, so that they can kind of retain it better, but also just get outside and get moving. So that's a good idea. I want to start.
I know. Okay, Adam, next time we meet, we're going to have to pick one of these. Yeah. Preferably one that I'm not terrible at, because I'm so tired of losing lately in VR games.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. We'll both be bad because we'll be talking.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I do have, unless Jazz had any other questions than what we may or may not have sort of pre-listed.
Yeah, like this has been in the back of my mind, so I'm just going to ask it because it's been in the. So you said, like, when you were trying to go into law. See, this is way back when you were trying to go into law. People were like, "Well, you're more creative," but then you decided to go into operations and VR games. Do you feel like that's like a very creative role? Like, does that? I mean, operations generally is. I mean, I guess there's some creativities. You have to figure out how to make things happen and move pieces around. But yeah, do you feel like you're getting that creativity that you were needing? fulfillment?
Sure. I also oversee marketing, which of course is, needs to be extremely creative and filled. So I spend a lot of time working on that and doing things across all the games. And then, I am pulled into all of our planning for the games and where we're going with them. And, we spend a lot of time tossing around different ideas and things like that. So I think especially at this company, I get to do a lot of things that are creative. And then of course making things happen, like, we need a ping pong table tomorrow, like in New York, like, okay, cool. Like I'll figure that out. Like, and in the early days, at ClearMotion is always like, oh, we need a BMW 535, this model tomorrow. And it's like, cool, I'll just figure out how to snap my fingers and make that happen. But of course, like I did a lot of that and have done a lot of that my whole life. And, you have to think quick and really know how to work with people and have good relationships and all of that. And I think that's what makes working in this a lot of fun. And then I think on the ops side, as I mentioned, I played a lot of sports. So it's like you've got all these different parts of the business that you need everybody sort of working towards the common goal, right? And so, I think I often see the business as, the sports team, and everybody's, we've got our center and our left wing, our right wing, and the defense, and we're all kind of working together to accomplish our different things. And making sure that I'm doing everything I can to make sure that everybody's working well together, and we're hopefully going and executing and scoring the goals.
That's such an interesting analogy. So my background's also in operations. So we're both like operations and marketing. But I don't think a lot of people know what operations is. And when I think about operations, it's because I'm not a sports person. I'm very bad at sports. But when I think about operations, and maybe you could explain a little bit too, Natasha, on what it looks like in a VR company, what operations looks like. But when I think about operations, I always, because, I have like mechanical background, I always think about gears all moving. And I'm like, how do I get them all to move like as if like, in the best way? And it's usually like in my mind, everything's just like a gear. And I'm like just trying to piece them together. But it's funny that for you, it's like it's a sports analogy. I love that. It makes so much sense working at for FunLabs. But I think maybe there's some people in here that could be interested in doing operations for VR gaming companies or, VR companies in general. What does that look like?
Sure. So at our company, I oversee like all of our business operations. So that includes finance, human resources, marketing, all of those areas. And then working with our engineering team on like timelines, releases, all of that. And then managing our relationships with both partners that we have for the games, like different table tennis partners and athletes and things like that. And then of course our headset partners, Meta, Pico, et cetera. So it's kind of a lot of things. I won't lie about that. But I think that's another thing I love is that no day is ever the same and never has been in any of these startups. And that's a lot of fun and challenging as well. I think I always think every quarter of the year has like a different theme to it of focus for me usually, just depending on what area of the business we're working on.
Yeah, like right now it's VR season. Everyone's just trying to grind and get things out and hopefully not have too many bugs and make all the players happy. Yeah, it's
exactly.
It's a VR grind right now. Yeah. One of the I can't help it. I have to share things, but so when I feel like anyway, I'm just gonna say it.
I won't judge you this time, I swear.
Let me just start prefacing what I'm gonna say. Just say it. So when Steve Jobs, passed away, and he was running Apple, and they were like, "Who's gonna run Apple now?" And they were like, everyone was like, "Who is this Tim Cook guy?" Because he was doing, I think he was the COO at the time, or he did operations for Apple at the time. And now like however many like years later, like Apple's like thriving and doing really great, and they were like, "Wow, like operations people, like." Yes. So I'm very biased towards operations. I love operations, and I think that's really cool that you get to do that.
Yeah. No, I love it. And yeah, I think it's awesome that you appreciate operations too. I mean, a lot of people
Nerd.
don't always know what it is, or, understand, like, I don't know, like healthcare and like calling the IRS. Like those are really like non-sexy things, but really important for your business. And like they take a lot of time and a lot of skill. And, sometimes you just have to grind it out and do it.
When people ask me like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm like, "I just make things happen." Like if you have an idea and if it's a good idea, just like, move all the pieces and make sure that it happens at the right time, and that it's like done well. And yeah, it's like I don't know, it's to me it's the real life version of a strategy game.
For sure.
You just have to move all the pieces and make sure you're like, okay, and then that's the goal, and that's how we win, and that's how you move everything. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, back to you.
Out on ops for sure.
Actually, since you mentioned that, what my question tied into that for someone, now that we sort of know more of what operations is, and that yes, most companies have them, and maybe you could, if you wanted to get into not just necessarily VR and gaming, but operations roles in general, which I would argue is a pretty high, leadership role. It's pretty high up there, so something to consider. But what advice then would you give to somebody who might be interested in pursuing a leadership role like this? I guess, especially with your experience in VR and gaming.
Sure. I mean, you have to start somewhere, right? Like you don't just show up with the experience. And obviously I had a really crazy background. Like you're like, whoa, this is like all over the place. And I do mentor people from time to time, and often they're like, can you put the pieces together on this? Because I would look at it on paper, it doesn't make sense. And then when you explain it, it's like, oh, this all kind of led to what it is. And I think it's also like looking inward, right? And understanding like, what are these skills that I'm really good at inherently, and trying to like layer that next to like, what job can I do in the real world that fits these skills? And maybe I'm also passionate about too. And of course, like working at a startup, you get so much more experience than doing like a job at a large company. Generally, I've only worked at a few large companies, really the law firms I was at, and of course the Ritz-Carlton, which is owned by Marriott, which is one of the largest companies in the world. But I did actually interact with a lot of different departments in that one role I had at the Ritz. But at a startup, you're often given like way more responsibility than you normally would, because it's, a tiny team. Like our team is 20-ish people, right? So you give people like multiple areas that at a larger company are done by like a whole team of people. And so I think that's a great way to get exposed to like multiple areas of the business. And sometimes a startup will be willing to work with you and let you sort of like work between different areas. Like when I started at ClearMotion, I did HR and finance, and then we had like a major marketing effort, and I got to get exposed to marketing and do a bunch of work on that. And so I really like ran the gamut of different areas of the business. And a lot of startups are like that, and it's a great place for somebody to get started, and get exposed to all those different areas.
I did want to mention too, thank you so much. That was awesome, by the way. But want to remind people that in case they do have questions, yes, this is actually a live interview.
Yeah, we're here. Hey.
We recorded because hey, we're busy ladies, and time zones gets complicated.
These ladies are hustling. Badass ladies hustle.
But yeah. Here once a month. That's like a miracle. That's what as much as
wait, can I just say Adam's hair looks fantastic, because Adam like said something about, you said your calendar got messed up and you ended up having a hair appointment right before this and had to run home.
Yeah, I did. That's why I also panicked when I got here, and I couldn't figure out why things were going wrong, because calendars got messed up, and I thought the podcast was last week, and I panicked last week thinking that the podcast was that week. Anyway, there's a lot of panic in the last couple of weeks, but we're all sorted out. Hair's looking great.
Oh man, yeah, the panic is real. The panic the past couple of, I just accept it. When it gets into VR season, you just accept. Like for consumers, VR season is great. It's the time where you just get everything. There's like new headset releases, there's new games, there's all these amazing things. But to make that happen, there are a bunch of people like us that are all panicking, trying to make sure that And then like all the comments are like, oh my gosh, all these bugs. It's just like, yeah, we're doing our best, please.
And it's also our well, depending on Thanksgiving America's coming up, Christmas is coming up. Like we like to have time off too. we don't want to have people working during the holidays. Also, they are also humans, so that can get a little tricky, especially with holiday releases. It's like you got to balance, especially with operations, like respecting people's time during normal holidays, but then also we just released a thing trying to prioritize all of the biggest issues first, and I don't know, that part's not me, so props to you for that. I just do the mouthpiece with my company, so it's good.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Bluebell. Bluebell just sent a $10 super chat saying you guys are awesome and look beautiful. Awesome guest. Oh, Natasha is really great, and Adam's hair does look amazing. Oh, I need to get a haircut so badly, but it's so hard.
Oh, I was going to put a plug in. We are running a Thanksgiving tournament for Bounce Shot. So we give away cash prizes too. So which I think is super fun. And I mean, you're playing beer pong, and could win some money over Thanksgiving. So if you have extra time, go in and play. Would love to.
That's awesome. Which dates are you doing that? And how do people join? What do they do? Because I need to win some money for the holidays.
Obviously, yeah. You just turn that into your Black Friday shopping or Cyber Monday. The best place to go is our Discord for Bounce Shot, and I can make sure we've got the link for that if we don't already. And we have a whole tournaments channel, and so it'll be posted up there. I would think we're starting to get signups for it. I can try to check that really quick. And
how many people do you take?
We'll take as many as sign up. We've been doing brackets of 64. We can go to 128, or however many people sign up. So we'd love to have lots of people. If we had hundreds of people, we would definitely, we could even break into a couple different pools. We do that sort of. 11 has had tournaments for a really long time, and we have different levels and things like that. So we're happy to grow it as much as everybody wants it to be grown.
All right. So if you are good at beer pong and you want some cash, which or if you're ready to practice and get good, there is a tournament and sign up. I sent the link in the chat, but I'll also link it in the video description later. So for anyone who's listening on a podcasting platform, you'll just have to go search on Google yourself. Go on Bounce Shot's website. BounceShot.com is really easy.
It is.
Bluebell asked if there's real beer included.
I love the idea. We should 100% partner with a beer company and send it out, when the tournaments are going on, or it could be a prize too. I don't know. Maybe there's legal ramifications. I think it's a great idea. No, at the moment, no. But of course, you're welcome to do whatever you want in your own home. So, I think some people, I know I've seen some of the creators, someone had daddy sodas and
oh my gosh, yes, J Bar. Oh my gosh, he was live streaming. He was live streaming and he covered his beer with a little beer koozie. So it was just you couldn't tell what it was. And every time he had to drink, he was like, need to take a sip of my daddy soda, just so it would be live stream appropriate. It was so funny.
Yeah. It's awesome. But if we wanted to find out more information, sorry, as my camera goes off and on randomly, about either you or about Bounce Shot or for FunLabs, where can we find out more about all of you, all of that, all good stuff?
Awesome. I think I linked my LinkedIn, which I do put out a lot of posts and put out some info on ops, books I'm reading lately, and other interesting things. So definitely please feel free to follow. And then we have our FunLabs, forfunlabs.com, which then has links to all of our game websites. It's ElevenVR.com for 11. And then, and then we, of course, have a link tree as well. We have Instagram and Twitter. Bounce Shot has the same. And then, bounceshot.com, we mentioned that, and Instagram and Twitter. And then Pickleball Pro, I think it's pballpro.com. And then it's an App Lab. We're on App Lab list too, if you're having trouble finding us. App Lab's sometimes a mystery to find the game. But if you go to our website, we've got that hot linked too. And I think you guys linked in all of the games directly too.
Yeah, there's so many. Okay, when you were saying you're not sure or you can't tell us what is up next, I want to see, okay, maybe if anyone can like comment in chat or in the comments if you're watching this later, like what ball related game or physics, I think it's ball physics, related games should For Fun Labs do next? I'm gonna pitch mine. Might as well. So I think y'all should do softball pro.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so my friend was telling me, he's like, I just saw like his baseball or glove on the table, and I was like, why do you have a baseball glove? He's like, to play catch, and I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, but I never have anyone to play with. Do you want to play? And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to play catch. And it seems so silly and so simple, but yeah, and it'd be cool too if you did a mixed reality and you could bounce it off of like the walls and stuff and interact with your real home furniture. Oh, that's my vote. But I'm not trying to sway anyone else's vote. Vote whatever you want to vote.
What I would like to see, like, I don't even know if these would be possible, but other like school playground games you don't see anymore, like tetherball. Or I don't know if it's the same in other places, but handball, right? Where you had the squares on the wall and you had to hit it within certain ones, like stuff like that. It's like whatever. I guess there's, I don't know for sure.
Tetherball, yeah.
But bringing them in VR and getting to have a nostalgic gym yard for the games that you actually like.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that would be so good.
That's like on a pole and you like,
with a stick, on a stick with a string.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and I see racquetball. Racquetball could be really cool because I think, or handball, because it's like a 3D box usually you're in, and so you could probably really do something really cool with MR with it. But yeah, I think all of those are great. Yeah, softball, that's super nostalgic, and be so cool to just be able to throw a ball back and forth. I don't know, maybe when hand tracking becomes even more of a thing, like that could be really cool. But yeah, I used to go play like field hockey against the garage, and it's like, well, you could do all that stuff in VR now too. So
cool. Yeah, you should have it should be like, I don't know, it should be like called playground or like recess time or something, and then there's just all the the nostalgic playground games that you could play. That'd be so cute, and with like your physics like expertise, that could be good.
Throw dodgeball here for fun too, just dodgeball.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine if like the ball like bounces off of everything, and then so you have to like, that would be crazy. Anyway,
well, yeah, both 11 and Pickle have a wall in it. And so you just you hit against the wall. So it's that same concept, which is super fun and cool.
You heard it here first, folks. When the next game is, stuff that you like to play as a kid, you heard it here first.
I will say, Adam Vega, thank you so much for the $2 donation. The comment is, why are you guys so pretty? Well, thank you. The VR industry is full of amazing ladies.
Born this way. I don't know.
Adam's hair.
So I think now that we have, they weren't serious questions, but now that we have the serious questions over, are we ready for VR Tumble or RL Stumble? I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I don't think Natasha knows what this is, but this is our game that we told you that we were going to play with you. Adam will explain the rules.
Yes, so it's really simple. I have 4 sound clips that I'm going to play. I'll play one at a time. It sounds like someone getting injured, and it may or may not be, but you have to guess if this was a VR accident or just an RL accident, someone being drunk or dumb or something. That's also VR or IRL. And then after you guess, we'll play a video so you get to see your answer, and that part's always fun and maybe slightly painful. I don't pick anything with blood, okay? And they're mostly okay. Shouldn't be banned for any of these. But yeah, should we get started?
Did you use anything from any of our games?
No.
Okay.
No. And that's all I'm gonna say. Don't worry. As far as I know, hopefully.
Okay.
Anyway,
you're okay if you did. Sometimes people fall playing games. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. Okay, are we ready for me to play audio one?
All right, everybody in the chat that's here live, feel free to chime in if you think that this happened in VR or in real life.
Okay, ready? Short and simple. Well, I can play it again. You're allowed at least 2 or 3 times.
Let's listen once more. All right, I'm gonna guess VR. It sounds like somebody falling playing VR, and usually people laugh after, because even though like it sounds like someone's at a party maybe or something like that, they're playing VR and then like they fall into a table or something like that, and then they're laughing at the end. So it seems funny. Yeah,
I like it. I like that you got the description to go up. And normally we would have Jazz guest too, but because something weird
the video.
Stream, yeah, she's got.
Yeah, I'm playing the video, so I know already. Man, it's more fun when I don't know. Arlen in chat said VR too much laughing. Chatty said real life.
Yeah.
All right.
Real life injuries too. But yeah, ready to play it? The video.
Sure.
How do I? Oh, here.
This is the one when you said, "Is it one of our games?" I was like, I don't think so, but it was cricket.
I mean, it is a little adjacent, but
yeah. Wait, okay, yeah, that's so funny because I just recommended like, oh, you should do VR baseball, but like, oh my goodness. Someone did say earlier if you could make VR baseball work with their catwalk, that would be the VR treadmill.
Yeah,
and that guy would not have gotten hurt. He would have been strapped in, and he would have been perfectly fine.
That'd be really fun. Yeah.
All right, so far, let me. We've got 1 for 1. Sometimes I forget on what the scores were, but I'll write it down while I play the next one. Are we ready for the next one?
Sure.
Okay, here's number 2.
Okay, meet me at the bar in 15 minutes.
This is a very long series of sounds.
Let's hear that one again.
Sure thing.
Okay, meet me at the bar in 15 minutes.
I see the chat saying real life too. I am leaning towards real life because there's not as much laughter. There is a little bit of laughter though, and I'm trying to like figure out what's going on there. I think it's something metal that's like, it sounds like pots and pans, to be honest, which it could be VR. Like it could be they have pots and pans like hanging in the kitchen, and like maybe they like whacked them all. It's tough. What's that?
People play in weird spaces. We've seen all kinds of places people probably shouldn't be playing VR, and they're doing it anyway. Not like the beach.
Yeah. Starbucks. Like I've done all these things. I'm gonna go in real life.
All right, let's find out.
Oops, hang on.
I will preface this by saying this is probably one of my. I love this clip so much. We have 2 really good ones, and this is one of my favorites.
Okay, meet me at the bar in 15 minutes.
يحلم.
Oh my
I love how it gets progressively worse. You're like, oh no, his pizza. Oh no, him. Oh God, the oven.
That is a really good clip, Adam. Props. Wow. Yeah, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Friend or whoever is just like, I guess I don't know
Your
what I would
oven.
do, crying of laughter, too, not helping and just recording, but whatever. Okay, so far you're 2 out of 4, so that's awesome. Are we ready for
Beginning.
Yeah, 2 for 2, unless I get 2 points per video.
maybe might make an exception for you. We'll see. Okay, ready for 3. I'm gonna play 3.
I get hurt, fam. Ah.
Alright, careful.
I'm definitely get hurt. Ow.
The owl at the end was great.
Yeah. I'll listen once more. I'm leaning towards VR because of the like careful and then like I might get hurt, but let's listen once more.
Alrighty.
I get hurt, fam. Ah.
Alright, careful.
I'm definitely get hurt. Ow.
Oh, I do love the owl at the end.
So much
In
like
case you didn't know from the sounds that he was hurt. Ow.
yeah, I feel bad for all these people getting hurt. Yeah, I'm gonna go with VR for this one.
All right.
All right. It's pretty mixed in the chat as well.
Yeah.
So
Back and forth for sure.
all right, here we go.
I get hurt, fam. Ah.
Alright, careful.
I'm definitely get hurt. Ow.
Not
Where-
just drunk, possibly drunk, hopefully drunk, dumb dude.
Where did you find these videos? Are these just like on YouTube or?
Yeah, YouTube, Reddit. I have a collection of them now, but they have to sound like stuff slamming into stuff and
Yeah,
like
that was a
let's-
good one.
yeah.
I wouldn't have anticipated random person jumping from one floor to another inside a house. It
And to
didn't
be
come-
fair, most of the crashes were either from the ceiling that he somehow hit on the way down and the balcony itself. Those probably got the most injury. I don't know.
Adam, I don't know where you find all these.
I'm good at it. If you have any other like non-violent crash related where the person
I
doesn't
mean,
look like
he was really tall, so for him it was probably just like walking down a step, you know.
yeah. I mean, he could say ow at the end, so that's also a good indicator that he could still speak. Okay. Are we ready for 4? This one might be easy, but it's another one that I loved a lot. So we're ready.
What's the score now?
So far she's got 2 correctly and 1 incorrectly.
Okay.
So
2 out of 3.
yeah.
You really did a great job. High five. Rick, oh God, what did you do? Why is it bleeding?
Why is it bleeding? I'm gonna listen again.
Okay.
You really did a great job. High five. Rick, oh God, what did you do? Why is it bleeding?
These are tough. I don't know. I feel like VR. I know I got the last one wrong, but
50-50.
yeah. Well, yeah, the opportunity, and it's like tossing a coin. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go VR because also he's like, why is it bleeding? And it's like maybe he didn't see it bleed at first. So audience
right.
towards VR too.
Yeah,
You ready for the clip?
let's roll.
Yep.
I love this one so much.
Okay.
You really did a great job. High five. Rick, oh God, what did you do? Why is it bleeding?
So kind of tricky. Yes, VR,
Ah.
but the voices had nothing to do with it was just extremely convenient voices. I love the timing of that one. It makes me laugh every time.
I'm so confused. Where did the voices come from?
It's Rick and Morty.
Oh.
That's them. Like he was high-fiving Rick, but I guess whatever he had in real life happened to be right where the high five was.
Gotcha. Okay. I was getting so confused.
Dude, I love that. The
I hope
inconvenience.
it wasn't expensive. Whatever it was, it sounded like it shattered and it was breakable. So hopefully it wasn't too expensive.
Well, I do have good news. 3 out of 4. So we do have a winner. Natasha is able to successfully tell, for the most part, if it's a VR or IRL accident. So we'll print you a certificate and hang that in your office.
Great.
So very highly esteemed.
75% C's get degrees. That's my dream. There's a couple of people that got 4 out of 4. You guys are getting better at this.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It'll get trickier to try to find new stuff. Surprisingly, the VR accidents are quite easy to find, but finding an IRL accident that sounds like it could be both is hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And that's actually one of the reasons I think MR is so great, especially for 11, because a lot of people get so immersed, they forget the table doesn't exist. And yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Imagine what happens. So
I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
yeah, I think we all have. So
Yeah.
but,
Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share with us before we end the interview?
I think that's everything. We've updated Bounce Shot this week. Pickleball Pro came out last week, so please go in and give these a try. And then there's an update coming for 11 table tennis, hopefully in about the next week. Although the devs get mad at me when I give a specific date, so I won't do that. But a lot of great performance updates, and maybe things you could buy in 11 table tennis, which could be really cool. Yes.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yeah, we're all very excited for it. So, yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, for having me. It was a pleasure talking with both of you, getting to know you even better, and talking a lot about VR and our games and ops and geeking out and all of that. It was awesome.
Yeah, all the things. Yeah, we really covered a lot of bases here, actually.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
All right.
We really
Bye.
appreciate it.
Wow. All right, Adam. Do we have any other stuff you want to talk about for the past month?
I guess super quickly, I had some short topics, but I wanted to go back again on the MetaSmart glasses. Sorry, I know everyone's probably sick of hearing about them and seeing my dumb tweets and whatever, but
that's what everyone was saying about me. You turned it to me.
Sorry, but yeah, I've been really like I actually did a lot of Halloween related stuff with these. I went to Halloween Horror Nights, Universal Studios. We have kind of by me. There's an event called Shacktober, which is a Shack Halloween event at the Queen Mary. I don't know how that came apart. No, Shack was not there, but there was a lot of inflatable Shack related stuff around. So I actually tried this. Oh, and I took this to BlizzCon. I took a haunted paranormal Queen Mary tour. So this thing has seen the works, and it's been in a lot of dark places. But I mean, like actually light dark, not as in like.
Okay. Okay.
I realized after I said that didn't come out quite right. But so trying it in lower light situations, it doesn't seem to. I think I turned it on and now Meta's yelling at me, or the AI assistant, but it didn't work too well in low light situations. Only when there were like strobes in the haunted house, usually when a character's coming out, then it would film them really well. But even if, and it makes sense because it's just a camera, right? It can't mimic my real eyes. But so haunted houses were not that great for it. But anything that was outdoors or well lit, or even in some of the nighttime areas that just had a bunch of lights, it worked out surprisingly well. And I think what I actually like the best about these, I haven't done the live streaming because it's to Facebook and Instagram. Who does that? Sorry, no offense to us.
No, I did it once. Yeah, and it was cool. But like, I'm like, do people really watch Instagram live streams? I don't know.
Yeah, I just wanted to see how the chat worked mostly. But What I really like about these is because the problem I have on vacation is I want to take a lot of photos and videos. And even if I'm not going to send them to people, it's sort of like those things that you just keep on your phone so you can scroll back to every now and then for nice memories. I always had a bad habit of kind of looking at my vacation through my phone, so it's sort of like I'm there, but I'm not really paying attention or not, what is the like hippie term, like present in the moment. So I really liked these glasses because I was able to actually sort of stay in the moment while being able to record. But yeah, so if you want to see more about this, I did make a YouTube video for it, so you can check that out. I'm not going to do a total big overview here, but I'm also but part of Try My Tech, which if you're trymytech.com basically allows you to try different peripherals before you buy headsets. I have this little guy on there as well. So if you are in the LA area and you kind of want to try them out before you purchase, because it is the transition specifically were like $400 with tax, then check out my listing on trymytech.com, and I don't want to say hook you up because these are mine. You can't have them, but you can try them. I'll give you like 25 minutes to try them out.
Have you met with quite a number of people on the Try My Tech stuff? I think we talked about that last time.
Not yet. I haven't gotten any biters yet, but I also haven't been.
One of you then.
Yeah, I haven't been advertising it very well, but plus it's also a location-based thing. Somebody would have to, meet me and be relatively within close distance of where I can get to. But yeah.
Yeah, I have a really funny story with them, with my with my glasses. Yeah, you were totally right about, being really in the moment and stuff. And a lot of times when I, start using the voice feature, I'll be walking with my friend and I'll start saying like, oh, hey, Meta, do this. Or I'll be like, capture footage or text somebody. And they're like, what? And I'm like, no, not you. I'm talking to my glasses.
I don't even use it in public because it's just weird. Or instead of the Hey Meta, because there's a setting where if you hold the touchpad, you can get it to activate instead. So I do that. So I could kind of stealthily like ask a question. And if someone in real life answers me instead of the AI, then I guess that's cool.
Yeah, I should enable that. I need to figure out how to do that. But I have this like funny story. So I was showing my friend around the city here in San Diego, and I had to be on this meeting. So we were out in public and I was on this meeting, and so my friend sitting next to me, she's just kind of waiting for me to be done with this meeting, like look at the water or whatever. And then someone walks by me and they just stare at me weirdly. And I was just like, and I just like smile, I'm like, I'm like, why are you staring at me weirdly? And then they like walk away. They like look at me and wait. I don't say anything. I just kind of smile and then they walk away. And then after my meeting, my friend told me, she was like, oh, that person said nice tattoo. I should have told them that you're in a meeting and couldn't hear anything that they were saying. Yeah. That was so embarrassing. Oh my gosh. I was like, oh, I feel so bad. That person was being so nice and like waiting for me to say something. But like I was wearing just glasses. I wasn't wearing any AirPods. I wasn't wearing headphones. I was just wearing glasses. So I just look like I'm a crazy person. So I just stared at them. I'm like, what? Smile. Like I don't understand why you're like standing there waiting for me to do something. And she was like, I should have told them you were in a meeting. But yeah, so these glasses will make you look crazy in person, in public. So, be aware of not looking dumb like me in public.
That I'm sure that's going to happen to me one day. Well, I mean, it's I don't even need the glasses. Sometimes someone will say, like, I like your hair. Yeah, and I'm just zoned out. And then my husband's like, that person just said they like your hair. And I was like, oh, thank you. So I don't even need the glasses to zone out. It just happens naturally.
Yeah. I think the good thing is I do have like long hair. So when I'm walking, I wear my glasses pretty much every time I walk my dog. I actually stopped using my AirPods, which I don't know if I should be saying that, but yeah, I stopped using, I pretty much only use my glasses. And, you can also put them on your head. And you can still hear quite well. You just can't talk in it that well. But yeah, I use them all the time, and it's a good thing that my hair is long because it covers my ears. Otherwise, I look like I'm just talking to myself while I'm walking.
Let's try to think about that, because yeah, it does have impressive capabilities, and that you can attach your phone and WhatsApp and something else I can't remember to it. But yeah, you might look crazy. Maybe you put a fake earpiece in or something. Well, it doesn't work.
I know. I need to I never thought I'd have to put in a fake earpiece so that I don't look crazy. Bluebell said, wait until you get older. It gets worse.
I think at some point you have to accept it and be like, you know what? It's part of my flawed charms. This is who I am. Sometimes I forget
Oh gosh, I saw this article a long time ago about this guy who went to prison. He was in prison for like 40 years or something. Like he went to prison in the 80s and then came out in like 2019 or something like that. And when he came out, he was so confused because he's like, what is this? All these people, like, how can they walk on the street when they're all looking down? Like, what is, because, cell phones didn't exist when he went to jail. And he came out and he's like, and all these people walking down the street talking to themselves, like, what is happening here? He was like so confused by how the world has changed. So that's us now. And in the future, it'll be fine. You'll be able to talk to your glasses and it'll be acceptable. But at the moment, use at your own risk in public.
Not there quite yet, but maybe soon. I did have, I think maybe I'll cover 3 quick topics. Those might actually be interesting to other people because we try to be beneficial to also you. Besides just being here and listening to our awesome interviewees. Sometimes if we can find it, we'll try to give you stuff that's actionable, depending on if you're a content creator or just interested in VR. So let me make sure I pull up the right window so Jazz can pull it up. The first one is Fast Travel is actually launching or has launched a creator program. So if you apply, yes, to potentially get free game keys or pre-release accesses to stuff. They did recently Vampire the Masquerade, but it's Fast Travel. Everybody knows them. Everybody loves them, right? They're Wraith the Oblivion, Afterlife, Vampire the Masquerade, not Blade and Sorcery. All of the Blade games are making my tongue stumble. But here, there's a lovely image of all their amazing titles here. You can.
I heard Mannequin was really good. Have you played that?
No, because it's kind of Dead by Daylighty, sort of like it feels like a mix of Dead by Daylight and Among Us, right? Where it's like a 1v, I don't know what the max is, but one person's kind of like a sort of like an imposter. I think that's what it seemed like. So I don't know if it might be too stressful for me, but the
probably me too. Maybe we should just be stressed together.
I already have enough stress and panic in my life, but the concept does sound really cool. Like, and I know it's a very popular style of game in the flat screen world. So it's good to be bringing this stuff over. But yeah, so actually, if you go to creators.fasttravelgames.com, that's where you can apply to.
Wait, so who can apply? Anybody? Like, what is or is it for creators, content creators?
Content creators, yes. So if you want
to
get early coverage keys for games and stuff, I think they have requirements, but they're quite light. 10. So if you are a streamer on Twitch or whatever, YouTube, 10 average viewers in the past 30 days, or on YouTube, 200 average views. They don't mention TikTok on here, which is interesting, but it probably would maybe go under the same numbers for YouTube. I would just apply anyway. Honestly, you never know. That's what I say for everything. Just you never know. Just apply for it anyway.
I feel like 10 concurrent Twitch views is so much harder to get than like 200 views on a YouTube video. Like 10 concurrent. Do you know how hard and how many years you have to put in to get 10 concurrent? It's even hard to just get 1 concurrent. But yeah.
Like, okay, YouTube definitely more for me as far as the requirements. But so yeah, I don't know if this is like a permanently open thing that you can apply to wherever, but the sooner you get in, the sooner you'll probably be able to get access to any upcoming titles that they may have. So that's super cool. The second thing I wanted to mention, sorry, my monitor's like way up here, so I'm always awkwardly just craning my neck. I wanted to mention this because this is kind of exciting of Meta expanding a little bit outside of just Facebook and Instagram. But they're finally adding an in-headset YouTube live chat overlay with the version 59 update. And currently, there's actually a form that you can apply to get access. And I just got my email today where I could test it. So I was kind of like, dang it, I wish I got this sooner so then I can actually give better feedback on it and test it and whatnot. But it is what it is. So that's good because this is for Quest native because this is something that you can't do currently. I mean, you can open up like your YouTube or Twitch chat in the Meta browser and then check it every now and then, but your game gets paused. So step in the right direction. And also it's nice that it's another platform, like I said, other than Facebook or Instagram. So chat overlays is kind of a big deal for those of you who are brave enough to stream.
I have not streamed in ages. Okay, that's not true. I streamed on TikTok last night. I streamed Gazzlers. Have you played it? Gazzlers?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so. I think I have it, but I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to play this game either because like the characters look kind of like cockroaches and I'm like so afraid of like roaches. Like why are they like bugs? I don't want to play it with bugs. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this game. And it turns out to be super freaking fun. But like the bugs turned me off. I was like, oh, I don't want to play with bugs.
What kind of game is it? Like what style?
Okay, so it's a workout for sure. It kind of reminds me if you had Pistol Whip mixed with Space Pirate Trainer with like a Borderlands twist. It's pretty good. Yeah, I just was like, why did you pick these like weird? I just the bug part was like weird, but yeah, basically you're like on the back of a train, and all these like bugs are like outlaws, and they're trying to come after you and like shoot at you and stuff, and you just have to make sure that they don't get to the train. So that's the part. So you're like shooting at them. You have like a gun, and that's the part that's a pistol whip like because it's like a rail shooter type game,
Okay.
but because of the fact that they're not just like stationary anywhere and they actually have like really like random movement patterns, and there's also some that come in planes. Like I don't know why these like cricket bugs are flying planes and are like in hot air balloons. It's just like it's the weirdest concept to me.
Don't ask questions. Just
Yeah.
this is what happens. Future of bugs. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Wait. Skiva just said they're little red guys. Are they supposed to be? They look like bugs to me.
This is not coming from official, websites. This is just Jazz's.
This is my opinion. I was like, why would you make a game with cockroaches? But I guess they're little red guys. Okay.
I want to play just to see if I think they're bug or not bug.
I know, right? Bug or not bug. That's so funny. But yeah, so and sometimes they fly planes and stuff. So that the part where it's like everywhere and not just like on a stationary flat space is the part that feels like Space Pirate Trainer, especially because yeah, they come in. It's a wave shooter too. And then the part that feels like Borderlands is at the how Borderlands has all these like different gun combinations that you can do. I freaking love Borderlands, and like you could just like hack it together in a crazy way. So at the end of every single level, there's you get like 2 random options to upgrade your gun or your shield, and it's always random every single time. So you just have to pick one, and you just have to remember every time what you picked last time, so you can stack them all. Because after a certain amount of waves, you die, and then you start over. And you just try to see how far you can get and how many points you can get. That was pretty fun. My legs were tired. I was really sweaty.
I do want to try it now. Okay, I'll finally have to just bite the bullet and somehow find some time to try that. And bounce shot mixed reality and
all the mixed reality. Oh my gosh, so much mixed reality.
Mm-hmm. I did at least want to bring up one more thing as well, because I'm curious to hear on your thoughts. So recently for the holidays, of course, Meta's decided to discount the Quest 2 for $50 off. So normally $300, now $249. I mean, it's gone from some interesting price hikes, price drops, but now for now the sale is $250. But I'm wondering, what do you think? Do you think it might be worth getting the Quest 2 at this discount, or maybe just diving in and getting a Quest 3?
Oh, that's such a topic for contention.
I'll throw that one in there too. Now let's just keep it a Quest 2 and Quest 3.
Okay. Wait, what was the other one that you said was not going to be included?
I was gonna say maybe Quest Pro, but I feel like that's adding other.
No, it's too complicated at this point. Yeah. Okay, with the 250, man, okay, people have been asking me a lot if the Quest 3 is worth getting, and I'm like, yes, but I know that in this economy, who has money at this point in time? So I'm very aware that $500 is not an easy thing to just shell out. Mm-hmm. So I've been saying, if you care about mixed reality a lot, and it's hard to know if you're going to care about mixed reality unless you've actually used mixed reality. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like before like Quest 3 came out, everyone was like, mixed reality, why are they pushing this? This is so stupid. Just another gimmick. And now everyone's like, oh my gosh, look at me doing my chores. In mixed reality. Anyway, point is, like, it's so hard to tell people if you like mixed reality, then you can get a Quest 3. But that is one. I think if you're like playing more games that are like, one, if you don't think you'll care about like mixed reality, which a lot of it is more realistic type applications, I would say, rather than like gaming. And then the second part is if you play games that aren't super graphically like, anything crazy, then you might not need the Quest 3 power. Like if you're just playing Gorilla Tag or, like things that are more like even Rec Room, I would say. Yeah, like, ones that don't require you to have such like strong graphical power. I think Quest 2, especially at 250, is really good.
Yeah. My thoughts are pretty much the same, but maybe with an age difference. I would say if you are like a adult wanting to get into VR, and you can afford it, just go with the Quest 3. Like,
definitely.
Especially if you're planning on using with Steam games and Quest games. But maybe if you're like a parent who is planning on introducing your kid to VR for the first time, and you're not really sure if you want to shell out that money, and it's a kid, so who knows if they'll even, like, kids are dumb. Sometimes you buy them something really expensive and they play it for like a month and then they're like, cool, next thing. So I would say it might be good for
entry.
New parents that are looking, not new parents, but people who maybe want to get their kid a Quest as a gift and are kind of on the fence. Like it's a pretty dang good deal. I mean, especially if you consider it with the consoles and stuff, it'd be like buying maybe I don't know if it's accurate. It's going to be totally accurate, but like a PS4 versus a PS5. It's like you still are going to get access to a lot of stuff. Just one's going to be better, and then eventually, that the longevity of that one's going to outlast the previous. But it'll probably be a significant time before that, so I wouldn't have that necessarily be a worrying point. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I think those are really good points. I wonder if they're gonna keep like making them, or if they're just trying to like get rid of the stock that they have of the Quest 2, so they could just focus on Quest 3. Like, I wonder what's happening.
I don't know, but if it helps get more people into VR for the first time, and then maybe they do eventually want to upgrade down the line or try a PC VR headset or PlayStation VR headset, I think it's gonna be good. But yeah, I don't know how long. I don't know if this is like the last of what they have and they're like, go. But
so Arlen said, I'm a broken record about this, but MR wouldn't be gimmicky if they brought classic board games into MR, but slightly evolved with 1 or 2 video game mechanics. And to that, I will say I actually spent, I think not this weekend, but last weekend, I played Terraforming. I freaking love Terraforming Mars. But I played Terraforming Mars, which is a board game, which is like, this one game took us like 6 hours. It's such a long board game, but also my friend has a crying baby that's teething, so they had to take care of the baby every now and then.
Oh man.
But I agree. Oh my gosh, with mixed reality, especially, like, I'm so excited to see more board games. It's really exciting to see that, from our last podcast, that Demio Battles came out, obviously, and then also Moss with Glass Breakers. There's lots of like more tabletop like stuff that are coming out, and it's really like, I'm here for it. I am tired a lot, as Natasha said, a body in motion or a body not in motion. We'll say not in motion. I am not in motion, and I would like to just sit and play games without having to move all the time. So yeah, I am for this. What do you think, Adam?
I think there's definitely room for both. So I think that mixed reality titles are going to be more of the, I don't want to say like casual, more relaxed experiences versus if you want something that's more in depth, that's got more meat, that's where you'll go to VR. But the only thing about because I have been super excited to be able to play Demio with my husband mixed reality now that I have the Quest 3, so he gets the hand me down Quest 2. I mean, I know the pass through is not as good on it, but that's something that I've been really looking forward to. But I've still been tempted, man, but he won't have that color pass through. But I don't know if I want to shell out another, what is it, $400-$500 for a Quest 3 just so we could play Demio in colored pass every now and then, because he has perfectly fine Quest 2. We've got the Quest 2 at home and it works still. It's good enough for his purposes. But I don't know. I guess it depends on if you want to be able to play it with other people in real life, so it's sort of like enhancing reality, or if you're mostly going to be playing it, online, and just you would only be seeing your own mixed reality room. But yeah, I don't know. I'm entering all these game contests.
Okay, so I I know you and I both have played Rooms of Reality lately, but okay, so my husband works like far. So during the week he's like working far, and we've been playing a lot of VR games together. So like, there's a lot of people that need to do this. So we've been playing Demio battles, and we played Rooms of Reality lately.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm for these like these things that are, yeah, being able to play stuff with people that are far away.
I think there's room for both. I know that there's a lot of mixed reality, like, I don't want to call them haters, but they're, like I said, they only see mixed reality as like a gimmick. It's gonna go away. This the thing. But why can't we have both? It's not like it's going. I can't imagine that Meta's gonna just completely like block out VR for mixed reality. So it's like either you're gonna have interesting
room for
looking,
both.
yeah, like interesting casual
Yeah.
experiences visually, or maybe more decorative stuff for mixed reality, or you can have your meaty, more hardcore games in virtual reality.
And I just have to say that there's some really good freaking non-mixed reality games that are very meaty and beefy and fantastic. That's all I could say. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. I'm sorry. But yeah, VR itself by itself is not going away. Mixed reality is doing great, and it's doing its thing. But VR is definitely here to stay. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I'm telling you, it is good, people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I especially love when a game can combine both. Like,
Oh my gosh, yes.
like now Mountain's
stop.
got a portal that you put on your wall. So if you want to go into VR, you just like click on the painting in your mixed reality room. And I know that's just a really basic idea of how you can combine mixed reality and VR, but I feel like it's going to get crazy as developers get really creative with what they can do to be able to combine both. And I'm excited. I'm like you said, I'm here for it. I can't wait.
Oh man, I can't say anything still.
But tell
yes.
me the DM later.
But yes, there is going to be crazy uses of mixed reality with VR combined, and it's yeah, cool. Yeah, great, Adam. Well, anyway, thank you all for joining us. Yeah, this was great. I think we'll see. I haven't checked yet if next month's podcast is that going to be like during the holidays, or can we still do it?
That's going to be the 20th. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And if so maybe we'll see you here still, but when we start next year with our season 2 of this podcast, we will be no longer on the VR with Jasmine YouTube channel. We will be on our very own YouTube channel. We're growing up. VR and All That Jazz is growing up, and it's going to have all its own thing. So you may see us here still one more time this year, or you may just have to go find us in the next place.
We're not dying. She means on YouTube. As far as I know, we're still living, and we're gonna make it to the next year. It's just we're gonna be on
in the next oh yeah, sorry. Why are we not good at like explaining things today? We're explaining things terribly today. Yes, we'll still be alive, and it'll just be on a different YouTube channel. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you all. This was fun. And have a good Thanksgiving and enjoy all the VR stuff. And if you see any good stuff that we need to try, just leave it in the comments on this YouTube video. So we'll come back, we'll look at it, and we'll be like, oh, that was good. And maybe we'll report back next time we're on here.
Yep. Thank you so much. As
Thanks,
said,
everybody.
Keep on living.
Keep on living. Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you.